Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We love to dig into those really impactful books, and today we're tackling a classic, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yeah. This was a powerhouse. It's been inspiring people for generations.
And we're going to do it with a little help from Brian Scott's YouTube audiobook summary and commentary. You know how much we love those.
Yeah, his insights really add a fresh perspective to the original text.
So for all of you out there looking to make those financial dreams a reality, well, we're going to break down Phil's key principles, without having to wade through the whole book yourself.
That's the beauty of these deep dives, right? We extract the goals so you can hit the ground running.
So buckle up, because Hill's philosophy for thinking and growing rich might just surprise you.
It definitely goes beyond just making money. It's a whole mindset shift,
Yeah.
a whole approach to life, really.
It is, and he starts with a really powerful idea that success all starts with, you guessed it, an idea.
He's all about the power of an idea, that initial spark of inspiration.
Exactly. He doesn't just tell us this, though. He illustrates it with stories.
Oh, the stories. They're what make the book so engaging.
Like the one about Edwin Barnes. The guy who was absolutely determined to work with Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah. Barnes had nothing but this burning desire and an unshakable belief, and that's all it took.
He visualized himself in that partnership, and eventually it became a reality.
It's a testament to the power of really focusing on what you want and believing it's possible.
But there's a flip side to that, too. The story of R.U. Darby's uncle who gave up on a gold mine just 3 feet from striking it rich.
Oh, man. That one's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Imagine being that close and giving up.
He quit because he lost faith. It really makes you think, how many of us have given up on something amazing just because we started doubting ourselves?
It's a sobering thought.
I hear.
You know, sometimes we're closer to success than we think.
That's why persistence is so key. Never give up on those dreams.
Absolutely. And that leads us to Hill's famous 6 steps to riches. His roadmap for turning desire into tangible success.
Okay, so let's break it down. First, you have to get crystal clear about the exact amount of money you want.
No wishy-washy, I want to be rich. Get specific.
Exactly. Then comes figuring out what you're willing to give in return for that wealth.
Hill is very clear that there's no free lunch. You have to provide value in exchange for the rewards you seek.
It's about that universal law of compensation. What do you bring to the table?
Right. And then you set a concrete date for achieving your goal.
Yeah.
That injects some urgency and helps you stay focused.
And then boom, no more waiting for the perfect time. You dive in and start taking action.
Action is key. Hill's all about turning those dreams into concrete steps.
And writing it all down, too. He says, write out a clear statement of your desire and read it aloud twice a day. Visualize yourself already in possession of that wealth.
He was a big believer in the power of auto-suggestion, programming your subconscious mind.
And Brian Scott adds a really interesting layer to this with his commentary about modern psychology. So we're talking about using techniques like auto-suggestion to actually influence our subconscious for success.
That's the idea. Hill was ahead of his time in many ways.
This whole thing about faith and the subconscious mind is fascinating.
Hill dives deep into it. He calls faith the head chemist of the mind. He suggests that faith combined with thought vibrations, they actually impact your subconscious directly.
He even brings up the role of emotions, like love and, surprisingly, sex. Wait a minute, sex? How does that fit in?
It might seem a little out there.
Yeah.
But Hill believed these strong emotions amplify the energy of your thoughts.
Okay, so it's like they boost your signal, make it stronger.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they strengthen that connection to what he called infinite intelligence, a sort of cosmic power that helps us achieve what we desire.
So it's like tapping into a higher power for guidance, what we might call intuition or universal wisdom today.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
And it's not just about passive wishing.
Right. You can't just sit back and wait for money to fall into your lap.
Absolutely. You have to align your thoughts, your actions, your emotions with your goals. Put in the work.
But Hill's saying by tapping into faith and autosuggestion, you can supercharge those efforts.
It's like having this secret weapon that you need to learn how to use.
There's got to be more to it than just that, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another crucial point. Specialized knowledge.
So we're not talking about just any old knowledge here.
Nope. Hill distinguishes between general knowledge and knowledge that can be directly applied to achieve financial success.
Got it. It's about having the right tools for the job.
Exactly. Like Henry Ford, he famously avoided filling his mind with unnecessary information.
He was laser focused on what he needed to know to succeed in the automobile industry.
Right. He understood the value of targeted learning.
So it's not about being a walking encyclopedia. It's about prioritizing the knowledge that directly contributes to your goals.
Precisely. And this ties into the power of imagination. The ability to combine that specialized knowledge with your ideas to create something truly profitable.
So taking what you know and envisioning how to use it to solve problems or create value.
Exactly. Like that salesman Hill talk about, the one who turned his bookkeeping skills into a thriving business.
Oh, yeah. He saw that small merchants needed help with their accounting, and he used his skills to fill that need.
It's a great example of how imagination can turn a simple skill into a lucrative opportunity.
It's about spotting those unmet needs and coming up with creative solutions.
Absolutely. But even with a brilliant idea, you need a solid plan to bring it to life.
Right. So this is where organized planning comes in.
You got it. Hill stresses that even the best ideas are useless without a concrete plan for execution.
So it's about bridging that gap between vision and reality.
Exactly. And here he introduces a concept called the mastermind principle.
Mastermind. What's that all about?
It's about building a collaborative team of like-minded individuals.
Hmm.
People who share your goals and bring different skills to the table.
So it's like assembling your dream team for success.
Exactly. Hill believed that collaboration was key to achieving big goals.
He uses a really powerful example, the formation of the U.S. Steel Corporation.
Wait, the massive steel company, how does that relate to the mastermind principle?
Well, Charles M. Schwab, the driving force behind U.S. Steel, understood the power of collaboration.
So he didn't just come up with the idea on his own.
He created a mastermind alliance with J.P. Morgan and others to make his vision a reality.
So U.S. Steel was a product of this mastermind group working together.
Exactly. And Hill points out that this story actually demonstrates all six core principles from Think and Grow Rich in action.
Wow, so it's like the ultimate case study for his philosophy.
Exactly. You've got desire, faith, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, and of course the mastermind principle itself.
It's amazing how all these principles work together. It's not just about having a good idea. It's about having the right mindset, the right knowledge, and the right people to support you.
Exactly. But what about when things get tough? How do you stay motivated and overcome those inevitable challenges?
That's where decisiveness and persistence come in. Hill really emphasizes the ability to make decisions even when you're facing fear and uncertainty.
It makes sense. If you're constantly second-guessing yourself, you'll never get anything done.
Exactly. And he uses a really powerful example to illustrate this. Remember those 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence?
They were putting everything on the line. Their lives, their fortunes.
Exactly. They made a monumental decision knowing the risks. It was an act of incredible courage and faith.
It shows the importance of making that decision and committing to it, even when it feels scary.
And once you've made that decision, you need persistence to see it through.
So it's about more than just having a burst of motivation. It's about staying the course.
Exactly. Hill calls persistence the sustained effort necessary to induce faith.
So it's not just about trying really hard once, it's about consistent effort over time. But how does persistence actually connect to faith?
Hill believed they were intertwined. He suggests that persistence is the key to strengthening our faith.
So the more we overcome challenges, the more we believe in our ability to succeed.
Exactly. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you push through, the more you believe you can.
It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And it's not just about brute force. It's about learning from our setbacks.
So we should actually study the causes of failure.
That's what Hill recommends. He encourages us to understand why others have failed.
So we can learn from their mistakes and avoid those pitfalls.
Precisely. He points to things like procrastination, lack of ambition, and negative thinking as major culprits.
It's interesting how those pitfalls are all connected to our mindset. It goes back to that idea of the power of the subconscious mind.
Exactly. Hill argues that our thoughts really do have a direct impact on our reality.
So if we're constantly thinking about lack and limitations, that's what will attract into our lives.
That's a bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You focus on the negative, you get more negative.
But if we focus on abundance and possibility, then we open ourselves up to a whole new world.
Exactly. It's about shifting your perspective and seeing the potential in every situation.
But is it really that simple? Can we just think our way to wealth and success?
It's not quite that simple, but it's a crucial part of the equation. He'll believe that we need to cultivate a positive mindset.
So it's about actively shaping our thoughts and beliefs, not just hoping for the best.
Exactly. And he provides specific techniques for doing this, like affirmations and visualization.
I've heard about affirmations, but can you explain how they work?
Basically, they're positive statements that you repeat to yourself, either out loud or silently. The idea is that by repeating these affirmations consistently, you can start to reprogram your subconscious mind.
So you're replacing those negative thought patterns with more positive ones.
Precisely. And visualization is a similar technique. You create these vivid mental images of yourself achieving your goals.
Like a mental movie of your success.
Exactly. Athletes use visualization all the time to improve their performance.
It's about creating a strong emotional connection to your goals, making them feel real.
Exactly. And he'll believe that by combining these techniques with strong emotions, like faith and desire, we could supercharge our efforts.
But what about those times when we feel lost or uncertain, when we don't know what steps to take? Hill also talks about the sixth sense.
Right. He does. He describes it as a direct line of communication with what he calls infinite intelligence.
It sounds almost mystical, like some kind of superpower.
It does have a mystical quality to it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But Hill believed that this sixth sense was a very real faculty.
So it's not just about logic and reason. It's about tapping into something deeper.
Exactly. And he suggested that this sixth sense could be developed through practices like meditation and self-reflection.
So it's about quieting the mind and listening to that inner voice.
Exactly. And he believed that this was the culmination of all the other principles he outlines in Think and Grow Rich.
So it's like reaching this higher level of awareness and insight where we can tap into a wisdom that goes beyond our everyday thinking.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a reminder that we're all capable of so much more than we often realize.
It's definitely inspiring to think about, but with so many powerful principles to consider, it can also feel a little overwhelming.
Absolutely. So where do you even begin to apply all of this to your own life?
Right, there's so much to take in.
Well, I think the key is to start small. Choose one or two principles that really resonate with you and start experimenting with them.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Exactly. Focus on building momentum. Small, consistent actions can lead to significant progress over time.
That's a great reminder. It's easy to get caught up in trying to do too much too soon.
And don't be afraid to ask for support. Find a mentor, a coach, a mastermind group.
It's all about surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision and can help you along the way.
Exactly. And remember, the journey to Think and Grow Rich is a lifelong pursuit.
It's about constantly learning, growing, and evolving.
And never giving up on those dreams, no matter what challenges you face along the way.
It's been amazing exploring Think and Grow Rich. So many powerful ideas. But as our listeners start putting Hill's wisdom into practice, is there one principle you'd say is especially important for them to remember?
You know, I think the mastermind principle is absolutely crucial. It's like the foundation of Hill's whole philosophy. Yet it's so often overlooked. We live in a culture that celebrates individualism, but real success rarely happens in isolation. Hill knew that.
Yeah. It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right, exactly. And Hill didn't just leave it at that. He gave us a framework for creating a mastermind alliance that can truly propel us toward our goals.
It's not just about finding a bunch of smart people, though.
Right.
What else makes a mastermind group really effective?
It's about finding people who complement your skills, who challenge you to think differently, people who bring diverse perspectives and experiences to the table. It's about creating a synergy where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's like building your dream team for success. And the best part is you can apply this to any area of life: business, creative projects, personal growth, you name it.
It's a powerful reminder that we don't have to figure everything out on our own. We can tap into the collective wisdom and support of others to achieve those big dreams. But even with the best mastermind group, there will be times when we have to face those inner fears, right? Hill talks about fear as a major roadblock to success.
He does. He devotes a whole chapter to overcoming fear. He identified 6 basic fears that hold most people back: fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
Wow, that pretty much covers it. And he offers specific strategies for dealing with each one, right?
He does. He emphasizes understanding where those fears come from and consciously replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmations. But maybe the most important strategy is taking action in spite of our fears. You know, he says that indecision is a breeding ground for fear and doubt.
The more we hesitate, the more those fears take root.
Exactly. And Hill uses such compelling examples to illustrate this point. Remember those 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence?
They were risking everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a life or death decision. And they made it driven by their burning desire for freedom and an unshakable belief in their vision. It's a powerful reminder that courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action, even when we're afraid.
It's incredible how Hill connects these historical moments to these personal development principles. Makes them so much more real and relatable.
He really had a gift for that.
Yeah.
And speaking of stories, remember the one about Are You Darby's uncle in the gold mine? He gave up right before he was about to strike it rich.
Heartbreaking. It's a powerful illustration of the importance of persistence,
Right.
which Hill defines as the sustained effort necessary to induce faith.
Exactly. It's not about that one big push. It's about the consistent day in, day out effort that builds over time.
But how does persistence actually lead to faith?
Well, he'll believe that the two are inseparable. He suggests that persistence is the key to strengthening our faith.
So the more we overcome challenges, the stronger our belief in ourselves becomes.
Exactly. It's like a positive feedback loop. The more you push through, the more you believe you can.
And it's not just about blind willpower either. It's about learning from those setbacks too. Hill encourages us to study the causes of failure.
Right. To understand why people fail so we can avoid those same pitfalls.
So what are some of the common reasons people fail, according to Hill?
He points to things like procrastination, lack of ambition, and negative thinking.
It's interesting how those are all rooted in our mindset. It goes back to what we were discussing earlier about the power of the subconscious mind.
Absolutely. Hill argues that our thoughts really do have a direct impact on our reality. If we focus on lack and limitation, that's what we'll experience. But if we focus on abundance and possibility, that's what we open ourselves up to.
I know some people might be a little skeptical about this whole idea of attracting wealth with our thoughts. Like, is it really that simple?
Well, it's not about just sitting back and wishing for riches to fall into your lap. It's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and emotions with your goals.
So creating a mental environment that's conducive to success.
Exactly. And it's not just some new age concept either. There's a growing body of research in psychology and neuroscience that supports the power of positive thinking and visualization.
So there's actual science behind it.
Absolutely. Hill was really ahead of his time in many ways. He was talking about these principles decades before they were scientifically validated.
And he suggests some very specific techniques for shaping our thoughts and beliefs, like affirmations and visualization.
Right. It's about making a conscious choice to focus on the positive, on what we want to create, rather than dwelling on fears and limitations.
It's like giving our minds a software upgrade.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And then there's that fascinating concept of the sixth sense Hill's term for a direct line of communication with what he called infinite intelligence.
It sounds almost mystical, tapping into some kind of higher power.
It does have a mystical quality to it, doesn't it? But Hill believed it was a real ability that could be developed through practices like meditation and self-reflection.
So it's about quieting the mind and listening to that inner wisdom.
Exactly. And he suggests that it's the culmination of all the other principles he outlines in Think and Grow Rich.
So it's like reaching this higher level of consciousness where we can access insights that go beyond our everyday thinking.
And it reminds us that we are all capable of far more than we often realize.
This has been an incredible exploration of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this book, but hopefully our listeners have a solid understanding of the key principles.
And more importantly, I hope they feel inspired to put these principles into action in their own lives.
Because Think and Grow Rich is not just about making money. It's a guide to living a more fulfilling and purposeful life.
It's about tapping into our full potential and creating the life we truly desire.
And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought from Napoleon Hill. He often emphasized the importance of using our success to make a positive impact on the world. So as you embark on your own journey to think and grow rich, ask yourself, how can I use my gifts and talents to leave the world a better place than I found it? It's a question worth pondering.
Beautifully said. That's a perfect note to end on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. Until next time, keep those minds thinking and those dreams growing.